What's happening, everybody? Happy Saturday to you. Welcome back to Working with Bobby. Beautiful spring Saturday. It's a whole lot going on. They had a PDRA race in Benson, North Carolina that I normally go to. Monster Jam is in town this weekend, right there at the Colonial Life Arena in Columbia, that I normally go to. Dunk Master was I think was being a part of some type of race and car show in Darlington Dragway, which is where my grandfather used to take me, that I sometimes would go to. And then it's a race at the Orangeburg Dragway that's pretty much walking distance from my house. And it's like a car show and some kind of other race thing that's going on in Bowman at that dragway. But I'm down here at my home. I call my home my shop. I live in a house with my family, but this is my home. When I'm here, this is my place of peace. So what we're going to be doing today is something not too extravagant, I don't think, but just in case somebody run into the issue, I wanted to try to do a video and share how I'm going to try to address it with the finances that I have, which is not that much, if anything, in my current situation. So I'm going to get y'all turned around and get y'all caught up on what I'm going to try to do. All right, y'all. As usual, Bell is the star of the channel, but I'm going to show y'all what I got going on. As you already know, well, some of you do and some don't, I lowered my truck. Let me zoom out some. Not in, out. I lowered my truck 3 inches in the front by taking the factory coil springs out and cutting them. Okay. I did 2-inch drop shackles in the back, which you can kind of see it, but you kind of can't. But in doing the drop in the front, obviously I don't have much room from the top of the tire to the fender. Okay. And I noticed that obviously when you got these upgrades that you're trying to do, you got a snowball effect, which you got to upgrade other stuff or modify other stuff to make that primary upgrade work. So what I did was, when I replaced the upper and lower control arms with ball joints and bushings, while I had the spring out, I cut inch or inch and a half out, which would give you double the drop in most situations. The problem is my truck rides really rough now, kind of like a race car or a sports car or whatever, and I'm trying to get a little bit of that smoothness back. But what I had noticed when I changed the oil last week is that the truck, when it's sitting on all fours, is kind of resting on the bump stop, which obviously less coil spring, less height, less shock travel, and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get situated the way I can turn the camera on. I got the camera on now, but show you exactly what I was talking about as far as what I might need to try to do or whatever I can do to see about getting the ride quality back. So just stay tuned. All right, y'all. Since this truck a little lower, it ain't easy to get up under now. But as you can see, hopefully you can see it real good. This is what it looked like when it's sitting on all fours. But if you look here, y'all see that? It's literally sitting on the bump stop. Now, I started to leave the bump stop off because I believe it just bolts onto these control arms. I started to leave the bump stop off, but I wasn't sure how that was going to affect the ride height. And another thing is because of how my tires are, if the suspension unloads, I'm wondering, if it's going to cut into my wheels and all that. Well, not my wheels, but the sidewall of my tire. So what I might have to do is take this. I want to keep this piece on here. I started to just take it off and just maybe bead roll it, but I want to keep this piece on here. So what I might do is trim it back to where it would make contact with the tire and see how that goes. And that's probably what I'm gonna try to do, because I want to have that factory look, but have like little subtle modifications. And you don't have much lip behind this, but I feel like if I do that, then when the suspension compresses to absorb the bump and the irregularities in the road, big word, I won't have to worry about it cutting up my tire. So I'm gonna try to address the bump stops, which I might just take them off, and then I'm gonna try to see about what I can do. Oh, I'm blocking y'all, sorry. See what I can do about that, trimming this fender. So y'all just stay tuned. All right, y'all, I got the wheels and tires off the front to kind of get a better idea on what's going on. This bump stop, it actually bolts onto the front of the truck. I don't really want to take it completely off because I'm still running stock shocks. I know I should probably put drop shocks on here since I done loaded some. You know, it'll help with the ride, of course. But I don't want to take the bump stock completely off. So what I might do is take it off, unbolt it from the control arm, and then put it in the vise and maybe cut it down the way it don't be making so much contact. And then I might put my wheels back on and set it back down and then see what I need to try to clear from up here. So I'm probably gonna also have to take these screws out so I can take this trim piece off and then see how I shouldn't have to modify nothing but from here to maybe here, you know, in this area, because that would be the only place where it would unload enough to make contact with the tire. So I ain't got to like hack up the whole fender, which I don't want to do because I want it to still, you know, look stock appearing. So we're gonna do that, and then I'll cut y'all back on. All right, y'all. As you see, the safety glasses on. Safety first. But anyway, let me get y'all turned around so you can see what I did. All right. If you looked at some of the slideshow, this is the bump stop that some of it that I cut off. And just know that some of it is metal, so I don't want you to think you can just use a razor blade. But this is the aftermath of what I cut off. I left about 1 inch on there. Like I said, I didn't want to take it completely off. I wanted to have something for it to hit against, you know, to keep the suspension from bottoming out. But if I had to measure, I probably took about, I was upside down, 1 inch and maybe 5/16 off in height. And beware, I did start off with this. I ain't gonna lie to you. I started off with this, but too much work. So I got the Sawzall. Yeah, I ain't trying to, like they say, work smarter, not harder. So I'm gonna put this one back on, and I'm gonna repeat the process for the other side. And then before I put the tires back on to check to see if I got any clearance, I'm gonna go ahead and do the trimming while I got it off. It's a little bit too hard for me out here to be putting tires on and setting it down and picking it back up and all that, because this is what I got to work with. You see what I'm saying? If it was on a lift, then yeah, it'd be easy. I can just put the tires on and, you know, let it down and then let it back up and then take the tires back off. But it's too much work doing that down here, so I'm gonna just trim what I can while I got the tires off, and then if it's enough, then it is what it is. So I'm gonna put y'all back on pause, and I'm gonna get to work, and then hopefully I'll be letting y'all know how it looks once I got it sitting back on all fours. So just stay tuned. All right, y'all. I went ahead and took both of the fender trim off, but I've marked this side. I'm struggling to get it to set up still, but y'all can see it. What I did was just took a magic marker and kind of traced off where I wanted to trim. The reason I ain't trimming the whole thing is because the tire don't make contact in the area. I'm more concerned about the suspension unloading and dropping down, and then this part hitting the side of my tire and cutting it. So I'm trying to clearance for that, and then I'm gonna drill an extra hole up here to hold that part in place so this here don't be so flimsy up at top. And once I bolt it onto the truck, I'm gonna use the cutout trim to be able to use that as a guideline to cut the trim the fender the same way. And then, you know, from the outside, it'll look, you know, OE and factory, but you know, you got to get like under it to see where it's done been clearance for hopefully a larger wheel and tire. So I'm gonna get that done, and then I'm gonna show y'all the end result. All right, y'all. I got the fender trimmed and ready for the tire to go on. I just had to cut slits in it and then just beat it back with the hammer, kind of lightly, because my what do you call it? Well, the body saw, it decided that it wanted to clock out, so I had to put it back in the box. But I got your attention on this header tube and with these lower control arms for a reason. And I noticed where I saw where it looked like it's still been making contact, probably when the suspension unload. So what I'm gonna do is get my grinder again. I done put this extension cord up like 3 times, but I got to get it back out, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this little lip here down. grind it down the way when the suspension, when the weight of the truck is on the suspension, it won't push this little lip on the top of this control arm up into that primary tube. I feel like they probably should have angled that primary tube up a little bit, but I don't design headers, so I can't really say so much, but that's kind of sort of poor design. I feel like they had more area to run that primary tube, but it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and get this here grind down, and then I'm gonna put the tire back on and let this thing down on all fours again. So y'all just stay tuned. All right, y'all, we back. I got the truck sitting all the way down now, and it wasn't a big job, but it was, with the right tools, it probably would be a big job. But I finally got the clearance that I was looking for, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the camera put on it so y'all can see what I did. All right, let me get it turned. All right, now as you can see right there where I cut the top off the bumper stop, I now have clearance, and the truck still bounces a little bit when I try to load the suspension. So I know already that it's gonna drive and ride a whole lot different. I did that on both sides. I don't know if you can see that. I might have to zoom in. And even if it do come down, I got some space cut away to be able to clear the tire. Now, Lord willing, when I get aftermarket wheels, the tire is not going to stick out that much, because I'm going to go away from these fat 15s and probably go with a 20-inch wheel and tire combination. Probably a 275, 40, 20 or something like long in there. I don't want nothing too big, and I got to get the right back spacing, so the tires sit where I want them to sit. But that's what it is. So let's go to the couch where we can get y'all closed out. All right, y'all. It's kind of sort of no lesson for today. In closing of the video, just stay encouraged, and if you see something going on with your vehicle, whether it be a car, truck, or whatever it may be, I mean, it's working with Bobby for a reason. I just primarily have my pickup truck on the channel because that's all I got to work on. But with whatever you're doing, turning wrenches, whether it be ATVs or race cars, street cars, whatever, always remember that you can do it yourself if you, for one, put God in the midst. You got to put God first. The word say with Christ, I can do all things. So if you do that, then 9 times out of 10, or if not all the time, if it's in his will, it's going to work out. So without dragging y'all on, that was a bit of encouragement, but be encouraged. Oh, why be saying? Oh yeah, be blessed, be encouraged, keep wrenching. I'll see y'all on the next video.